Hey guys, Eric here. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. Before we tune in to the details today, I have one little favor I'd like to ask you. Are you listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify? If you are, and if you haven't done it already, it would be so helpful to Anita and I if you could leave a 5-star review. It could just be putting 5 stars or even writing down something that you really enjoyed and learned from the episodes that you've heard so far. This kind of help would really improve our ability to give you better content and also to help other people find out about Taiwanica. So if you wouldn't mind taking just a few moments to do that if you haven't already, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we really hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Okay, and I bit him.
Oh, you bit your coach.
I bit him because he was just...
I bit him.
I bit him because he was just being such a pain in my butt, always yelling at me.
Wait, he's a butt? He's a giant butt, and he also a pain in your butt.
So there was double butt in the butt, so it was just a lot of
With
butt
4
going
teeth
on.
now.
Yes.
This is episode 45, talking about sports. That's right, sports, folks. Hello, everybody. I am Anita, one of the hosts, Taiwanica, and I'm also a life coach, help you build healthy and loving relationships. Today, join us will be another host of Taiwanica. Hi, Eric.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Name's Eric.
Hi,
Nita
Eric.
gave me a great intro here on Taiwanica Podcast. On another beautiful, crazy weather day, we had lots of hail. It hailed so much that we thought we were going to swim in it. So that's why we want to talk about sports today, because it's all about exercise.
That's
And
right.
so this is something that we are both very passionate about, and we're going to share with you the differences between Taiwan and the USA with just regular sports. Also, some other really fun things like...
Oh, their personalities, and we will be sharing our personal stories about like the sports and everything.
Got it. And then a secret at the end. So
Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
Definitely stay tuned to hear all about that. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go ahead and dive on in. So, Anita, what are sports like in Taiwan? Are they like everyone does them? Like if you go outside and you're going to see a bunch of like old people like running, what is it like?
It's vary from place to place, I would say.
Okay.
When I was a kid, when I was in the elementary school or junior high school, we do have PE class. I guess that's the only chance that we can do sports or even do exercise
Okay.
in my generation. So I would say when I was a kid, doing sports or exercise is not so common. But right now, people are starting to talk about, oh, we need to do exercise 3 times a week. It will help you keep your body in a good condition or things like that. So more and more people are starting to do exercise and sports.
Interesting. So as a kid, PE was the only way to do exercise.
That's true.
So you wouldn't say when you were a kid you would see your mom or dad like doing aerobics classes or maybe doing some yoga in the living room or anything like this?
No. So I remember when I was a kid, it's very, very rare. The only few sports is considered relatively common would be, running or basketball.
Basketball, huh?
Yeah. So those are the most common ones. But like I said, it's really not that common for everybody. And you guys will stay tuned to listen to Eric's experience, compared to those 2 countries. I think Taiwanese people really should do more exercise and sports.
Okay. All right. So from a Taiwanese point of view, you heard it here. Taiwanese people need to do less, maybe, flipping of the phone.
You say that, I didn't.
Flipping of the phone and more running or something like this.
Yeah.
They have really strong thumbs.
That's
let's just
thumbs,
say
yeah.
that.
That's if we have any like
Thumb
sports,
wars?
yeah, sports.
Oh, just
Taiwanese
totally
people
lose
is
it.
going to take the first top 3 places.
Oh, wow. Okay.
International
New Olympic
wise.
game right there.
Yeah.
Thumb war. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's very interesting. In the USA, I mean, the Olympics.
Yeah.
We take pride in being really good at sports. But now, Just because on TV you see Americans kicking butt in every single sport that exists doesn't mean that everyone in the United States likes to do sports. So it's kind of like 50-50 if you really look at it. And it also depends on what part of the country you're in. For example, if you're in a colder part of the United States, you're probably going to do less sports. But if you're in a warmer part of the United States, you're going to be more inclined to go outside and do things. So, for example, we live in Oregon. Probably the most common thing that people like to do in Oregon are two sports. One of them is definitely riding bikes. Everyone loves to ride their bicycle in Oregon. Just totally the go-to thing. The second one, I mean, this is debatable, but a lot of people still like to run in Oregon. But if we were going to actually do a sport, I would actually say one of the most trendy sports in our area is rock climbing. So there's lots of centers for doing that. Surprisingly, yeah. But for everywhere else in the United States, it really is case-by-case situation. And actually, because of that, we've actually developed this thing about, personalities being attached to certain sports. So I just brought up rock climbing.
Yeah.
Rock climbing in the United States is actually, someone who is either a techie, someone who's really smart. And has like the newest eco-friendly car, goes rock climbing after work. Or it's a hippie, someone who has really long hair like me and is really strong and eats like a vegan diet and, it's all he does is talk about rock climbing. That kind of person, okay? So each sport kind of develops a personality here in the United States, and you kind of develop a community based on the sport you do. So that was actually really surprising for me when I was living in Taiwan, because one sport that we have in common that you mentioned was basketball, and for me in the United States, I would never go play basketball. I would never go play because you have to fit a certain group, and
you're not qualified.
I'm not. I don't qualify to be in the basketball group.
What do you need to do to be qualified?
You got to be cool. You got to wear. You got to wear.
The first one is like no.
No, I'm done. It's over. The first qualification, nope, not cool enough. The next one is you have to know how to actually play basketball. You can't just go there and practice. Yeah, exactly. In Taiwan, you can say, well, 可以加一吗? Even if you don't know how to play, you can still give it a try. People are willing to give you a chance. In the United States, if you don't know how to play, please get off the court. Thank you. We're kind of playing a game here. Okay, we're not babysitting, shutting down, right? And so if you ever see a basketball court in the United States, you got to be ready to get, in the zone. So it's kind of like that thing that you learn as a kid. You play a lot, and then you play outside, some street basketball. You build up some cred. You build up some credibility. And so people are like, oh, that guy knows how to play. I want him on my team.
Wow, you guys are so serious about that.
Very serious about our sports. And so if you fit the category, you can join a group. You're in. Yeah, basically, you're in. And so for me, basketball was not a thing in the United States, but in Taiwan, I could because I could basically play with everyone, And so that was really cool to experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Because in Taiwan, we are more open-minded to sports. I've heard a lot of stories as the kids, 7 or 8, they should choose a sport to try, either soccer or some other sports. But in Taiwan, we are more going to cram school to study extra hard for your major subjects like math, English, or Chinese.
Absolutely. Compared
to those. Sports is kind of like not so important because they won't get you a good score. Right? So when we're a kid, it's very passive. Not many people are doing it. Or they will think you are wasting your time of doing exercise outside of your study. Like you should use your time wisely to study as much as possible. So we don't really have the luxury to do sports when we're a kid. I will say recently, but about 10 years, the government started to, encouraging people to push people to do more exercise, and the school also cooperate this policy. So we have a lot of opportunity. Like my younger brother, he's just 4 years younger than me. But the opportunity that he can try many different types of sports at school is already compares to my generation is already a lot.
Wow.
So right now, a lot of people, like going to the gym, I will say that's the most common one because, very easy. You go there and do exercise. And there are a lot of new, so-called new sports or new exercises started to spread in Taiwan. For example, like rock climbing. I personally do rock climbing. It's because I was working for a international company when I was in Taiwan. Before that, I never tried rock climbing. And because of the, my job requires me to know the market more. So I was forced to do the exercise. But once I get into this field, like you said, you will have a lot of people has their personality. But they're not that serious. To be honest, about 60-70% of people who are doing sports, like serious sports, like rock climbing is one of them, or, hardcore mountain hiking, mountain trail. I also do trail run. Also, like 60-70% of people are foreigners. And I think it's also cool because you guys are in Taiwan and you guys brought in the culture, and now more and more people are willing to try like new types of sports or exercise, like barre, B-A-R-R-E. If you don't know what this type of exercise is, you can go Google it. It's a really cool and very good exercise for everybody.
It's like dancing.
And ballet together, and yoga, and all the fusion together. So, more and more people like, oh, look at this, it's cool. And another push for most of people doing exercise is you can do cool photos. Do like air yoga, hot yoga, you're hanging, or rock climbing, you're like, oh, so cool, you can post it on your Instagram. I will say that's about what happened right now in Taiwan with people doing sports and exercise.
Well, very nice. Thank you very much for sharing everything about what's going on in Taiwan.
Thank you.
Yes, it's very clear and true. Hey everybody, we hope you're enjoying today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. It's people like you who are helping us grow into a bigger and greater podcast. And we are offering you a great opportunity that is exclusive only here on Taiwanica. And that is our sub-channel, buymeacoffee.com/Taiwanica. Over there, we have special content that is only available to you with a small donation. This donation helps us move forward, and you will be able to have all the exclusive access to this special content that is nowhere else. So we hope you can come join us there, and we can't wait for you to check it out. Thank you so much. When I lived in Taiwan, basically wherever I went, if I was taking a bus or a taxi, I would always see signs for basically all the sports that you just mentioned, yoga, aerial yoga, think about, dancing. It's just becoming a bigger trend. And that's great that people are becoming more proactive in these things. And it's interesting that in school it hasn't really been like such a huge influence in Taiwan until recently. And so in the United States, it's just kind of been part of us for at least 50, 60 years now. I mean, you probably can see movies from way back when about the high school star who is an American football player, and if he's the quarterback, of course, he's like dating the most beautiful girl in the school, and they become prom
high school
queen.
Girl. Oh, I thought you were going to say sweetheart. But...
Sure, high school sweethearts, prom king, prom queen, it's the whole thing. And so it comes back to like being popular.
Oh.
Okay. And that's another big thing about sports in the United States is that if you do this sport, you're probably part of the cool group. But the cool group is different depending on each sport. So, for example, let's talk about basketball again, since we already talked about it a little. So if you want to be like part of the cool, like I'm a little bit of a rebel group, and
I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm cool, but I don't like have to be school cool. I like to do things outside of school and make friends who are not actually at my school. Sort of things like this. You play basketball, but if you play football, that means you're the popular kid at your school. So, American football, right? Knows who you are. Everyone knows that you're in the team that everyone wants to be in if you want to be like the one that gets the spotlight inside of your school and your class. Or if you do a sport that's completely unrelated, like skateboarding, then you're basically considered an outsider of your school. Like you're the real rebel, the rebel that like I don't care about school at all.
I'm too cool for school.
Exactly. Too cool for school. So yeah, what are we looking at? Okay, so yeah, it's just an interesting phenomenon that you have. So this is something that I've definitely noticed in the United States. Is this the same in Taiwan?
Right now, we don't really. I mean, it's definitely a plus if a guy knows how to do a lot of sports.
Okay.
For girls, like in high school, in college, it's definitely feel like, oh, that guy's so cool. That guy can play basketball. But it's not necessarily equal popularity.
Oh, I see.
It's just like a plus. Like, oh, that guy's cool. He's cute, and he can also play basketball. He's from the school team or something like that. It's definitely a plus, but it doesn't have a direct relationship.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's more of like a turn on rather than a popular idol. You know, like
Yeah.
you're not like representing like I'm a cool person. It's just more like, oh wow, that guy knows how to do a sport.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I understand what you're saying. So in the youth though, you said that recently in Taiwan, kids are starting to do sports.
Yeah.
Is there a particular sport in Taiwan?
This sports I learned from my nephew. I think it's the concept is pretty similar to skateboard.
Okay, so like longboarding?
Not longboarding, like snakeboard.
Oh, snakeboarding.
Snakeboarding, yes, that's what I
The
call it.
one where the two paddles will go in different directions like this.
I think
right?
they like
They wiggle their
feet,
legs.
and then they can move around like a snake, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for some reason it's like a really popular sport for young kids. Like my nephew is about 11, and it seems like the school has this kind of club. You join the club once a week to try this type of sports.
That's really
I think
interesting.
It's really cool.
You know, that's great that clubs are starting to become a thing in Taiwan because in the United States and just to mention it, even Japan, clubs are something that are influenced at a very early age, from elementary to middle school. You're basically, if you need to have an extracurricular activity, it's definitely not studying. It's about you being a part of a club. And if you can join a club of your interest, that makes it very easy for you to be part of the community inside your school. So that's where the idea of like when I was in elementary school, pretty much every boy inside of my class were on the same soccer club, like every single one of us. And it was for two reasons. One, they thought it was a great way for us to get exercise, and two, it was a way for us to bond and for the parents to bond. But really, in the United States, we have this thing called soccer moms, and that's an idea of where like all the moms will be part of the soccer club and just be like super passionate about their kids being in soccer, which my mom was totally one of them, and that's a funny story which I will maybe share later. But yeah, it's definitely a big influence where family and school and sports all kind of get merged together in the clubs in the United States. Would you say Taiwan is the same?
We'll be right back.
I really like journaling, but I always end up with no time or cannot find a journal that I really like. So I was like, hey, let me create one. So here it is, a self-help journal created and designed by Anita. Inside the book, I provide very simple and easy to follow template. For example, in the morning, to-do list. In the evening, gratitude practice. So you can use a very little time to start this healthy habit. Go ahead and check it out in our description down below or go to our buymeacoffee.com.
In Taiwan, our clubs will be a little bit different from the USA ones. When we were younger, like from elementary school, junior high school, I would probably say senior high school. How do I say that?
So it's just like an additional period of school.
Yeah, I would say each week we'll have 1 to 2 hours of club time. And those club times, you can choose which club you wanted to join. So, for example, when I was in junior high school, I was actually in a basketball club.
Wow.
Yeah. And just like basically join the club that you are interested in. And during that hour, for example, Friday 2 p.m., it's your club time. We call it a class, actually. So you just go to, for me, I would just go to a basketball court to play basketball. But that there's no being cool or not. It's just like school taught us to do that. No matter what, you have to choose one to go to. And sometimes if the most popular one got all chosen by other students, you'll be forced to some really lame, I don't want to say that, but really bad.
Like knitting.
Or even worse than that.
Picking flowers.
Have you ever been to
I've been to a flower arrangement class. I was like, I'm totally not supposed to be here.
What am I doing here?
I don't know if I'm supposed to smell this. Okay.
I feel dizzy afterwards.
Maybe need to go to hospital. Probably gonna die.
That's the case in Taiwan from elementary school to senior high school. But in college, there will be I play guitar. Yeah,
Oh wow, you have
I play
guitar class.
Yeah, we have a club, guitar club. So there's some, when we are in college, it's not necessary for you to join the club, but most of the people who join the club because they have the same interest, like, we know play guitar. We all know like usually the cool kids are from the guitar, and there will be some super nerdy clubs too, like you guys join to play Pokemon cards. Yeah.
So it's definitely like personality
Yeah,
again, right?
it's like personality. So again, it's not about being popular or not, just being who you are and to bond with the people who has the same interest.
I like it that way, especially for me because I did something that was called swimming, and swimming is
called swimming.
yeah. I don't know if you've heard of it. If you haven't, Google it because it's a great.
It spells
sport.
like SWIMMING. I repeat with two M's. SWIMMING.
Wow. Talk about a good advertisement. I hope we get sponsored for that. So swimming is a wonderful sport that everyone...
Which I don't know how to do.
Which Anita doesn't know how to do. And Eric has tried to teach her. Swimming is a great sport to do when you are basically trying to do something that doesn't have to do with balls, which is definitely me. My mother... God bless her soul. She wanted me to do sports. You know, I'm a boy. I had lots of energy. I needed to get out of the house, you know, because I was bouncing off the walls. I was just like, ding, 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 ding. What are we going to do next? You know, so it was just hell for her. You know, I really feel bad. I'm sorry, Mom. If you ever hear this, I'm sorry. So she took me to different sports. The first one she took me to was soccer, like I told you. But when I was playing soccer, I was not paying attention to the ball. I was sitting in the grass and picking out flowers. I was like, oh, this is a pretty flower. Oh, I smelled it again. Probably need to go to the hospital. Okay. And then she took me ice skating. She's like, okay, if you don't like... Oh, no, we're not there yet. So, then let's try ice skating. I tried ice skating, and my ankles just could not stay straight. They could not go like this, like straight forward. They would always go sideways. And I just like, I don't get it. So I just sat down and I ate the ice off the ice rink. I was like, ice, it's cold. And she's like, this is not a good place for you, nor is it hygienic. And so we're like, all right, let's go on to another ball sport, see what happens.
Here we go.
Did basketball.
Here
because
we go.
I'm tall,
Okay.
you know, I got the hands.
I see some
for it.
potential.
Yeah, there's potential there. I'm perfect for basketball. But every time I shot the ball, it would go like the other direction. And my coach was a giant butt. So
Are we allowed to say that?
giant butt. B-U-T-T. Okay?
Two T's,
Yeah,
guys.
double T. Okay? Not double M, double T. Okay? And I bit him.
Oh, you bit your coach.
I bit him because he was just...
I bit him.
I bit him because he was just being such a pain in my butt, always yelling at me.
Wait,
always
he's a
telling-
butt. He's a giant butt, and he
was
also
pain
a
in my
pain in your
butt.
butt.
So there was double butt in the butt. So it was just a lot of
With
butt
4
going
T's
on.
now.
Yes. Oh wow. Well, okay then. So it was just horrible, and so my mom was like, you know what? Well, we're gonna try one last time with the ball sport. So we tried something called T-ball. And T-ball, and if you don't know what T-ball is just basically baseball, except they're much nicer to you, where they don't throw the ball at you when you want to hit it with a bat. No. They will put a ball on a stick, and then you hit the ball off the stick and start running. So I'm supposed to hit this ball. I got this bat. I'm going to try to get it. And you know what happens? Every time I try to hit this ball, I hit the stick. And I don't hit the ball.
Does that count?
It does, but you have to run even faster because they're going to get the ball much sooner. So I keep on falling over. over. So it didn't work. So mom said, you know what?
I still love you.
I love you.
I love you, my son.
Yeah, so we're going to try a completely different angle here. And, you know, the reason for it was because I didn't know how to swim when I was younger. And my mom used to like to take me to lakes when she went fishing. She wouldn't trust me with a fishing pole. So she went fishing. And then I would keep on falling into the water, trying to catch the fish with my hands. I'm just like, I'm going to get him. And then I kept falling in. I'm like, Mom, I can't get out. So I kept on freaking her out. So she's like, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go swimming. And the first time she put me in the swimming pool, I was the happiest boy in the world. I was just so happy. I was just so at peace. And my mom's like,
There it is.
You're a swimmer. So she put me into swimming club, and I swam for 10 straight years after that. And I loved it, and now it's just totally my thing. Everywhere I move, everywhere I go, I have to go swimming. If I don't, I can become a crazy man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep, so that's my story of doing sports. So it's good.
Love it.
It's good to experiment. It's good to try. Because sooner or later, you'll find what you love.
Yeah, that definitely is. Is it my time to share my story?
Please. What sport do you do?
I do a lot of the kind of sport.
All right. You do a lot of sports.
I do. Yeah, I do many kinds. Before I didn't do exercise. About like 5 years ago. The first sports I ever tried is rock climbing. You know, when I was younger, like elementary school, we have like a running competition. I was joining from time to time because I was fast. But I wasn't really built any passion towards to it. Oh, I can run, I'll do it. But rock climbing, was totally in love with it. So fun. Because when I was younger, I feel like I had anger issue.
Oh, really? You wouldn't say.
I don't like something that's really slow. I like something, you know, it's like boom, you can use intense. So rock climbing is the perfect fit for me because you use all of your muscle around your body and you conquer the rock. So that feels really awesome.
Yes.
So that's rock climbing for me. If you're in Taiwan, go Google bouldering because in Taiwan we do have some real rocks that you can do rock climbing outside in nature, but it's very high level. So if you really want to try rock climbing, go Google bouldering gym. In Taiwan, we have many. So they are all wonderful. Indoor, you don't have to worry about sun. Your skin won't get darker. Don't worry about that. So if you are interested, you can Google bouldering gym. In Chinese, it's called 抱石馆. Like really hug the rock, okay? And the second exercise sport I'm still doing it, is running.
Great sport.
I love running. You know, at that time I was having a difficult time in my life. So I was just like, I wanted to start fresh. So that's why I grew this love towards running because I feel you can really connect yourself because when you're running, you are just be there with yourself and by yourself too. You can really listen to your body and have the deep connection with yourself, your thoughts, and your body. And running, another reason I love running is because you can see your improvement. I wouldn't say fast, but you can definitely see your improvement and that just feel really, really good. And I started running and then at the same time, I also started a class of pole dancing, which is something that at that point I was really always wanted to try, but never got a chance to try. But at that moment I was like, I got all the free times of my life, so I'm just gonna try it. So again, I loved it. I love running. I love pole dancing. Pole dancing is not, you know, like strip club style. I was doing for sports, for the strength. Absolutely love it. Yay. And then because of pole dancing, I met another girlfriend who's really, really love running. And she introduced me to a different types of running, which I mentioned earlier is called trail run, which is basically the trail in the mountain area in Taiwan. They have a marathon there. It's like super hardcore stuff. It sounds pretty simple, but when you go try it, you will know. And that's definitely my experience of pushing myself to the limit. So good. I love it. So if you're interested in trail run, you can Google in Taiwan called Running Beasts. Yeah, I will share the link down below that you can go check out. It's a very famous place to hold this kind of exercise. But again, there are some risks. If you never run in your entire life, they won't accept you to join the competition because you gotta have some training beforehand.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
For some of the listeners out there who just listen to all of your sports. They're probably in Taiwan and they are interested in trying some of these. Do you have any equipment that you would recommend them to use when they're running?
Running, if you're just start to run, like you're a beginner, the shoes are very important. So, just find the perfect running shoes for you. Me personally, I'm using New Balance.
Okay, we'll leave a link in the description down below for that.
Yeah, that shoes is awesome.
And anything for rock climbing?
Rock climbing, definitely recommend a brand called Ocun. It sounds very funny, but it spells Ocun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So their products, we can leave a link down in the description for them as well.
Yes.
Okay. And for pole dancing, anything in particular?
Pole dancing, I will say, because pole dancing is kind of, you need to go to a studio, just basically like yoga or any like TRX or air yoga. You need an instructor to show you how to do that. So I will suggest you to find a local studio who had experience, has this kind of class, and you can go try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any equipment needed for that?
No.
Just some strength.
Some strength, and no matter what exercise, the warm-up is very important. Very, very important. Before you do exercise, don't be too eager to try. Maybe in the beginning you can do a lot of things, but one thing about your body is, of course, we have the strength in the beginning. We can tolerate a lot of force from the outside, but if you keep doing it without releasing, more likely either your muscle, your joints, whatever, get teared easily. So my suggestion would be always do warm up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the suggestion at the end there. That's a very important point.
Very important.
And just as also an athletic individual, I definitely recommend cool downs as well. If you're doing really intensive exercise like running or swimming or anything that's aerobic, it's always good to do a little bit of stretching or move your body slowly at the end.
Yeah.
We are not physicians. We are not here to tell you how to do your exercise, but just recommending to you. There are great ways to do exercise, but make sure you take the precautions to do them so that you don't have any injuries afterwards. All right. So we're going to dive on into our little secret that we were going to share. It's fun. I'm excited about this one. All right. So I'm going to dive in. It's about, we have sports. But, as adults, we love doing sports, but it's not fun to do it with friends on like a regular evening. You're like, hey, bud, do you want to go and play some ping pong together? Or, hey, friend, do you want to go on a walk together in the park? They're gonna be like, dude, what are you talking about? I want to go get a drink, or I want to go play some games at a game center. They're not gonna want to do exercise like this, like super happy-go-lucky people. If you are one of these people, good for you.
We love you.
We love you. Like that's who we are now as parents. But when we were younger, we were not like this. And so we got creative with our sports. We have one from USA and one from Taiwan. I really want to do the Taiwan one. So can you do the American one first?
All right. So every time when we watch in Taiwan, whenever we watch a movie, like college kid doing crazy party, whatever, that famous red plastic cup.
Ah, yes.
We know that thing. We don't have that in Taiwan, but every time we see that in a movie, we know, that's a party time.
Yeah.
Right? It's party time. So just imagine that red cup, all right? So we will use that for, what is the sports called? Beer ping pong?
We just call it beer pong.
A beer pong. Oh, sorry, it's cool kids.
Get rid of the ping,
pong.
put in the beer. Duh.
Yeah. So it's called beer pong, you
Yeah.
said? So basically, you have a big ping pong ball, and you have a red cup in front of you.
Yep, in a row.
In a row. It's either this one or that one, right? I've definitely seen both.
Usually we do it as like a pyramid. So there's 4 on the bottom and it goes 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so the type that I play is you use the ping pong ball to hit the table first and to go to the cup.
Oh wow.
And take turns. we have like row probably like 5 cups in front of us, and we go the first one. We take turn 2 teams. So the first one goes to the first cup, and then go into the back. The second one do it to the second one.
Wow, you
That's
play
how
a
we do
really hard game of beer pong, okay? And if you're getting really drunk, that's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
So let me give you a story about beer pong when I was in college, okay? So one time I was at a party, but the party hadn't started yet. So one was starting to come to this party. But me, my friend, and his 2 roommates that he were basically planning on playing beer pong. And we bought our beers, and we did the pyramid style, okay? And so after playing one game of this beer pong, we were already drunk because there was just so much beer to drink in each of these. And so by the time it was 1 cup versus 1 cup, because in beer pong, every time you put the beer pong ball into the cup gets drunk, right? So we're basically down 1-1, which is the hardest part of beer pong. Okay, and so what happened was I had to make a shot, and the shot was I missed the shot, but the ball, when it bounces back to you, like somehow if it hits the cup and it comes back to you and you grab it,
You grab the ball.
You grab the ball. You can do it one more time.
Oh, okay.
But there's a caveat. There's a exception to the rule. That is, you can't shoot it again like with your hand forward. You have to shoot it the back of your head, back like this. And so I'm really drunk, and I'm just like, I'm gonna totally get this, guys. And there's like 100 people at this party. They're all watching the game, and I'm just like this. I don't care. Just threw it, and then it went bloop right on in. The whole entire party just went crazy. Like, I think that we had an earthquake inside of the house from how intense it was. So yeah, definitely I played a good beer pong game in my day.
Good job,
Yes,
Eric.
thank you.
Thank you. Good job. You should put it into your resume.
All right, thank you so much. I will. Yes, Taiwanica podcaster and beer pong specialist. Okay. Hire me now. Okay.
I like the title.
Thank you. So I totally took over your story. So I'm gonna give you the Taiwan one. So tell us the transformation of Taiwan.
I think this is really cool. It's called, I'm pretty sure that's just direct translate from Chinese. It's called alcohol marathon.
Oh.
Basically, they will set up the route from A to B. For example, I want to go from, it wouldn't be like Taichung to Taipei. Usually it happens in the city.
Okay.
Usually it's like 1K or, a distance. And they will set up the route. Everybody who join the competition, start from A and all the way to B. Of course, the winner will be whoever make to B, the first one will be the winner, right? But it's not that easy because it's called alcohol marathon. So whenever you hit the convenience store, you have to go inside and grab a drink, finish the drink, and keep running.
Wow.
Till you make it to B.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds easy.
What would be a really fun marathon? Doing all of Wenxin Lu in
Jesus.
Taichung. Yeah, go from A to B. Go from the high-speed rail all the way to wherever the other end is. There is no end. That's the point. Exactly. You'll be totally slathered, wasted.
Oh my god. I wanted to try. I know this is really bad for you, but I kind of wanted to try that.
Yeah, me too. I have a Taiwanese friend who told me of their version of it, and it's just basically a little bit of a twist on this transformation of running. So they go walking, but they go in a little mob, like a little group of people.
Yeah.
And so there's about 5 or 6 of them. They have A and B, and they have to walk. And every time they see a convenience store, instead of them chugging down a drink of their own, like they go into the convenience store, the trick is they can't pick the drink that they have to drink.
Okay.
So, for example, you and I go in, and one of Anita's favorite alcoholic drinks, just so you know if you want to give her any free drinks, it is a plum wine. Okay, so if Anita was doing this run, maybe she would do plum wine. And then for me, I like beer, so I would always buy a beer and drink that. But maybe we're in there and it's our turn to pick for each other. So I'm like, oh, Anita likes plum wine. I can't give her that. So I give her like a whiskey sour or, something really strong, something that punches her in the face real good. And then she gives me something awful, like maybe a bottle of wine or something like this, and I have to drink this whole bottle of wine or vodka.
Your least favorite.
I hate vodka. Don't ever give me vodka. Okay.
It's funny.
And just like that. So
Oh wow,
then
that's
they have to get to B with all this different alcohol in them, and they're just basically
my liver and my stomach is like
Explode.
hurting now. If I can just listen to the story.
Yeah, something that we could try though. Maybe we can have a Taiwanica marathon.
Oh my god, that would be great. When we
Yes.
go back to Taiwan, we can do that.
18 and
Yeah.
older. Okay. In USA, 21 and older. Okay. Got
That
it.
is so cool.
All right.
Yeah, so like, I love how creative Taiwanese people are, Of course, American. But one thing I really wanted to give praise to Taiwanese people is like we always been so creative about everything, about food, about everything. I've actually noticed there are a few reasons I wanted to point out why Taiwanese people are not so encouraged to do exercise. I think one is the temperature. It is really hot. To be honest, Taiwan is most of the times like 30 or more degrees outside and humid.
It's killer.
It is. So one thing that is the weather I wanted to point out. And second thing is this one is called totally can change, which is the body figure ideal is thin, and
Skinny.
and
Right.
white. Like your skin color must be white.
So no sun.
No sun.
No intense muscles.
No.
And not a very protein-rich diet. So in other words, anti-exercise.
And that's true. And I need to say that more and more people have this idea that if women have muscle, it's also a beautiful thing. So definitely more and more people are accepting these ideas.
Which is great.
When I was younger, my mom told me, "You're too skinny. You don't need to do exercise."
Well, thanks, Mom.
That's totally wrong.
So it's okay. I mean, we're not judging moms
Yeah,
here, but
but-
if you want to hear about judging moms, you can listen to the Chinese episode, okay? But we're not doing that right now. The idea here is that basically everyone has their impression of
Yeah.
what exercise is, what it does for you, and why you should do it or why you shouldn't do it. But the main point that I want to just say is that exercise is great. It helps you do way more than just keep your body in shape.
That's
It
true.
creates friendships. It creates opportunities for you to go to new places. It creates this new identity for yourself of
Exactly.
like who I am, And so we always need to have those kind of changes in order to grow. So exercise is a wonderful thing. Definitely. If this inspired you, we really hope so. Definitely let us know in the comments below or mention it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll be putting up a reel and a post on this later.
Yeah. And I would like us to share one of photos of our, our peak, like doing exercise. For example, your championship, like swimming photo. I definitely see that one, and people should see that too. So
I do look completely different.
It
You won't recognize me.
it was like how many years ago?
Let's see here. I'm 31, so I was 18. So
Oh,
wow, it's been about
right.
13 something years now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make people want to see it even
Sure,
more.
sure.
Yeah.
You can definitely check it out. We'll post it later. But yeah,
That'll be fun.
Did you enjoy today's episode, Anita?
I absolutely love it. So one thing I really wanted to share is go do exercise. It's not about growing muscle. It's not about compete with each other, like how beautiful I am on the Instagram photo. It's definitely not that. If you just enjoy the exercise and enjoy your time with yourself, you just be so much fun. So enjoy your exercise.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
for that
welcome.
last message.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please definitely share our episodes with people. The more you share, the more people can find out about this fantastic podcast that we're making. And we don't say that to be egotistical. We just really want to share this loving information with everybody. So feel free to tell your friend, tell your mom, tell your grandma. I'm sure they would all have a great time listening.
That's true.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for today.
Yeah.
We will see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Taiwanica. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode.